Let's see. This one is like, it's like overlapping or something. It's like how easily things can get taken out of context or mean so many different things, which everything does. Everything has multiple meanings because everybody has multiple perspectives. Oh God, it was so much more than that. It's like oh God, this one's a tough one. It's like we go about our lives and we live in the bubbles we live in. We know what we know. It's all we know until we know more, right? And so, I guess it was showing naive, but it wasn't either. It wasn't so much that as it was like shocking and jarring. It was almost like tone deaf or... It's like you can be saying something that is technically normal and fine, and yet when a similar instance is happening on a broader scale, it's like the same words can be applied to it, and then it can sometimes have a much more jarring effect. Where it's still truth, but it's like, oh, would you have given that harsh of a truth or that loud of a truth or delivered that way, right? That's the idea of like that tone deaf, right? It's like sometimes people just aren't ready for that pure of truth, right? Or that rawness. And for good reason. Like sometimes it does not call for that, right? Sometimes, depending on the scenario, it's like you're not going to it's not always necessarily going to help. I guess it's like the idea of like a spoonful of sugar, right? Sometimes people need their medicine, but depending on the scenario, they really do need a spoonful of sugar to get it down. Otherwise, they'll just spit it back out, and so then it's pointless, right? It's like wasteful. It's landed on deaf ears. I think that might be all I can say about that. It just was, I just don't know how else to, I don't even really know what the message is there. There was that, and a million different stories they keep taking me to, but one, and I don't know where it started or where it began, because remember, sometimes they'll just take me to a certain place and I just start reading, so I don't know the full story, but it was like somebody had stolen the ark and it was moving, like they stole it and put it into their city, and then so everybody in their city died. And then they're like, here, take it. And they gave it to somebody else and their city died. Everybody in their city. And it was like, until it goes back to its rightful owner, until it is honored and respected and revered. It's almost like the idea can bring death everywhere instead of life everywhere when it's not respected and honored and appreciated and in its rightful place. So it's like, I think the idea was like, it's always up to us, right? If we're going to do right by ourselves and others, it's blissful. When we do wrong by ourselves and wrong by others, it can turn into a nightmare. And until you correct your wrongs, until you get your house in order, shit's going to go bad for you and all those around you. And it's like people don't want to hear that, see that, sense that, know that, admit that. That was like part of the story, is like, people really didn't want to admit it, and hence they kept putting it everywhere except where it belonged, in a way to like almost thumb their nose at it, like, get it out of here, but fuck you, I'm not putting you back where you belong. But that didn't serve anybody. It was only until it was done correctly that it served everybody. And so it's like, you can thumb your nose all you want, you're going to get thumbed back at. What you put out is what you're going to get. And it's like, it can be such a simple concept, and yet we do seem to struggle with that, don't we? I find that as a race, we can be really stupid. So there was that. There was a couple other things, but I feel like they're kind of lengthy, so I'll come back on to another one later. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.